Hey guys, what's going on? It's Makita here and we're back with another video today. What if I told you that the US dollar is a worthless piece of paper with no real value? Well, that happens to be the case and has been since August 15th of 1971 when Nixon took the US dollar off the gold standard. Gold standard is a monetary system in which a country's currency or paper is tied directly to a fixed amount of gold. For example, if the US sets the price of gold at $1,700 an ounce, the dollar value would be 1/1700th of an ounce of gold. Gold standard is no longer used by any government and was replaced entirely by fiat money, currency that exists because of the government order. For instance, in America, we have the dollar as a form of payment. In Nigeria, it's called naira. Federal Reserve could print as much money as they want, which is what they did, which led to a 40-year high inflation of 9.1%. The idea is attractive because there's only so much physical commodity, which means any government or individual cannot print more currency without running into constraints like hyperinflation, high levels of poverty due to the lack of resources. This prevents them from causing significant damage through improper management when they had no intention whatsoever, giving rise towards these outcomes. It also makes life easier since we don't need all those complicated economic terms everyone seems so obsessed with nowadays. Just straightforward common sense will do. So let's look at the history of gold and see how it became the standard for monetary policy. The use of gold as money dates back to 600 BC in Asia Minor, and since then has been widely accepted, together with other commodities used for purchasing goods. The ones that lose their value the least amount over time become the standard form of payment among many people around the world. Fun fact, the United States government holds more than 8,133 tons of gold, the largest stockpile in the world. Here's a picture for reference. Gold has always been the perfect ingredient for economic stability. Not only does it act as a limit on how much money can be printed, but its value ensures that people will have an incentive not to inflate their currencies with inflationary practices like printing more cash or borrowing from other countries' central banks, because they'll need gold in order to make good on those debts if ever asked. If the system was so reliable in avoiding the evils of inflation, why was it abandoned? The gold standard was abandoned because of its high volatility and the constraints it imposed on governments. For example, under a fixed exchange rate system like what exists today, policymakers cannot stimulate economic growth by reducing unemployment during periods of excess currency printing. Gold has a long-standing relationship with the US dollar, and over time will generally have an inverse correlation to its value in relation to other currencies such as the euros or yen. With instability in markets across various countries, there is often talk about creating another standard for gold, but this isn't flawless either since they can be affected by market events too, just like any other asset would. Over the long term, a declining dollar generally means rising gold prices. Will the gold standard ever return? That is highly unlikely for the following reason. Strictly limiting government spending will prevent general economic stimulation. Gold's price is subject to whims because it's not used in any significant ways other than vanity goods and hoarding. Thus, people perceive the value of gold rather than practicality. The US, traditionally the world's biggest gold holder, saw its reserves dwindle down to 75% at one point during World War II because of the high demand for the imports after countries were rebuilt and had money flowing towards them from reconstruction efforts. This inflationary environment also sucked out all last bits that remained in dollar-based currencies around this time period. So guys, with that said, make sure you put all your money on gold because it's going to the moon. Just kidding, this is not financial advice. As always, if you enjoyed the video, don't forget to leave a thumbs up, subscribe, and hit that notification bell.